Hello, my name is Jacob Junker. I am the pastor of the Franklin United Methodist Church, located at 82 West Central Street in Franklin, Massachusetts, and online at franklinumc.org. This is the first reading. On Sunday, February 21st, we will begin a new reflection series entitled After Death. This series will explore some of the biblical understandings about what happens when we die, or after we die. Our reading for this first week in the series is from the book of Job, chapter 14, verses 1 through 22. All of us are born of women, have few days, and are full of turmoil. Like a flower we bloom, then wither, flee like a shadow and don't last. Yes, you open your eyes on this one. You bring me into trial against you. Who can make pure from impure? Nobody. If our days are fixed, the number of our months with you, you set a statute and we cannot exceed it. Look away from us that we may rest until we are satisfied like a worker at day's end. Indeed, there is hope for a tree. If it's cut down and still sprouting and its shoots don't fail, if its roots age in the ground and its stump dies in the dust, at the scent of water it will bud and produce sprouts like a plant. But a human dies and lies there. A person expires, and where is he? Water vanishes from the sea, a river dries up completely, but a human lies down and does not rise until the heavens cease. They don't get up and awaken from sleep. I wish you would hide me in the underworld. Conceal me until your anger passes. Set a time for me and remember me. If people die, will they live again? All the days of my service I would wait until my restoration took place. You would call and I would answer you. You would long for your handiwork. Though you now number my steps, you would not keep a record of my sin. My rebellion is sealed in a bag. You would cover my sin. But an eroding mountain breaks up, and rock is displaced. Water wears away boulders. Floods carry away soil. You destroy a people's hope. You overpower them relentlessly, and they die. You change their appearance and send them away. Their children achieve honor and they don't know it. Their children become insignificant and they don't see it. They only feel the pain of their bodies and they mourn for themselves. In this passage, Job contemplates death. It is for him definite. It will come to us all. And while Job dreams that God might make death temporary, Job must face the fact that his wildest dream that there might be life after death, is nothing more than a hope that God will crush. People die, posits Job, and that is the end of them. Their children achieve honor, Job remarks, and the dead don't know it. Their children become insignificant, and the dead do not see it. In preparation for this series, I've been reading a book entitled Heaven and Hell, A History of the Afterlife by Bart D. Ehrman. I found the book incredibly interesting. The evolution of Judeo-Christian thought about what happens after death that Ehrman posits in the book will provide the structure for our reflection during the weeks approaching Easter. One of the things that strikes me from the book and from Job's reflections on death is the understanding of death itself. Death is something we all experience, but what is it? And why do we fear it? How do we understand death? Is the time of death when our heart stops beating and our brain stops working? Are there other ways of understanding death from a social or spiritual perspective. While I would firmly stand by the bodily understanding of death as an event where the heart and mind cease to function, I also think of death as the ultimate point of loneliness and alienation. Death is something we must face individually and alone, regardless of how it happens, regardless if those we love are around us when we die. It is something that we experience on our own, even if others are watching, and I think it's that isolation that we fear so much. The individual isolating event of death is scary. The question before us is, will that isolating event be the end? What answers does faith offer? And if, as Job suggests, death is the end, then what is it the end of? These are a few of the thoughts and questions that I'm wrestling with after this first reading and as we enter into this new series. What thoughts and questions do you have about death and what happens after death? Write your thoughts, your questions, your comments, your spiritual profundities and doubts below, and join me in the conversation this week. I hope you'll consider joining me and the people of the Franklin United Methodist Church in worship on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time as we continue our reflection beyond this first reading.